So, and you are sitting here, you're up here saying, I know that this is wrong. Like, I didn't like it. It didn't make me feel good. And the answer is if Trump was like you and had a shred of decency, then he could have typed out a little true. He fires off hundreds of angry true social messages. He could have said, I don't agree with that guy. He could have just said those words. Just like
Okay.
he lies about Project
All
2025
right. And
until he's blue in the face and says, I don't know anything about it. He could have been like, I didn't hire that guy. I don't
okay.
agree with him. End of story. But he didn't.
Listen, so
Trump
it's
is
only been
making
it
America
hasn't even
gross.
been 24 hours. So
Oh, how
it
long? You're
hasn't been
kidding, right?
24
Again,
hours,
we're gonna
Felice.
go through it. This is your chance to hold Trump accountable, to be honest about something and hold Trump
It's even been
accountable,
24
Sean.
hours.
He's done something
Hold on,
awful.
hold on a second. This is a stretch, is what it is. That's a
What's a
stretch, Felice, and
stretch?
you know it. Okay, this is my
Okay,
chance to
well,
hold Trump
I'm sorry.
accountable.
How long do you have,
Look,
Sean,
look,
when you put on an
he didn't
event
even
at
say that
Madison
stuff.
Square Garden 8 days before a presidential election, and you winning that election depends on the votes of Spanish speakers in swing states? How long do you have, Sean, before you say, "Oh, I don't think that was funny"? I'm just asking you, like in your timeline.
But on Fox News, when Kamala was asked if she owes an apology to the people who were
Oh, you're doing a what
unalived by
about? You're
illegal
doing a what about?
immigrants.
You're pivoting out
No,
of the
I'm
line of
doing a
logic, Sean.
comparison. If you're going to hold Trump accountable for somebody else's
No, it's
actions, then
you're
why
doing a
can't you
what
hold
about.
Kamala
You're doing
accountable
a
for
what
somebody
about.
else's
I
actions?
asked you how long. You said it hasn't even been 24 hours. He's offended his entire voter base. Let me
It
just tell you,
hasn't.
as a transactional narcissist,
Maybe he
Trump's
doesn't
making
even
this
know.
is how
He's so
stubborn Trump
busy.
is because Trump doesn't care about anyone. I would encourage everyone to. I think that Trump comes from an era where racism was very prevalent. I do think he probably is, a bigot, and we've seen that. But narcissists truly are transactional. All they're thinking is, I am God. What is best for me in this moment as God, and who I transact with to get those things. So the fact that he is so stubborn and so bigoted that even knowing, hey, the best thing I could do here is say, is denounce this. It's the best thing for my campaign and to poll voters in the middle of the road over the line. And he's still not doing it. He's shooting, it's called ballistic podiatry, shooting yourself in the foot.
Okay, is this all you got? So can we talk more about the rest of it? So tell me where the misogyny
You
was
would
at.
like to pivot to a new line of logic? Go ahead.
No,
You
I'm
can
not. No,
start a
because
new
listen,
line of logic,
we
Sean.
will agree.
Sean, it's not all I've got.
We
You are
can agree
painted
to
into a
disagree.
corner and you have nothing else to say because you know it is wrong.
I said it was wrong, and I said
Thank
that it's
you.
not Trump's fault that it was said. So we
Yeah,
can
no, it
agree that
is.
it was
And
wrong.
listen, and you did interrupt my presentation because I was going to provide proof of that. There are racist texts. There are dozens upon dozens of ungodly racist text or tweets available on Tony Hinchcliffe's X/Twitter, whatever you know it and love it as, right now. I mean, they go years and years back, horribly racist things. That's what I'm trying to tell you. As someone who goes to campaign events, they do background checks on everybody there. This is publicly
Well, the first thing
available
I said is,
information.
who
There
hired
are
this guy?
videos, Sean, of him yelling racist stuff at other comedians. All of this stuff is publicly available on the internet. And you're telling me Trump's doing a rally at Madison Square Garden and no one vetted him? They knew exactly who he was. That's what I'm trying to say. You keep saying you can't control what this guy said. Every single speaker that went on that stage was on message, was spewing the replacement theory,
Then you
was
got a whole
spewing
scene.
lies, was spewing bigotry, and particularly was spewing racism.
Okay.
Everybody was on message. That was a well-oiled machine. It's not like we had one outlier and then everyone else was like, "Oh my God, like what's this guy doing?"
Listen, I was
Every
like, who the hell
single
hired this
speaker
guy?
was on message.
Oh, he's fired. He got fired immediately.
Trump hires all the
They
best
probably
people.
walked.
Someone in the comments said
They,
that, and it's so true. And that's another
they
job.
probably.
Like, think about it. That's another job of someone in charge is to have is to, the buck stops with Donald Trump. Same thing with January 6th when he sat either impotently in that dining room next
Now
to
you're
the
pivoting.
Oval Office doing nothing, or he was applauding a coup. Whichever it was, or a combination of the two, he's a terrible leader.
Can you tell me what was misogynistic about the at the rally?
Are you joking? You are joking. There were threats after
You,
threats after
you said
threats
it.
against Hillary Clinton, against Kamala Harris. They were they were implying over and over and over that Kamala Harris has in some way slept her way to the top. I, Sean, you were up here debating and you clearly did not watch the rally. Second only to the never ending amount of bigotry
I
and
listen. I watched
racism
the entire
focused on
freaking thing.
migrants, focused on people who have legally
Every
immigrated to this
guest
country.
speaker.
Meanwhile,
Each of
Melania and
every
Elon
guest
Musk, people
speaker.
who have violated our country's immigration and visa laws, are hanging out like on the stage giving a thumbs up. But second only to that was the misogyny, the
How
never
did they
ending
violate the
misogyny.
immigration law?
Taylor Swift, I mean, every woman they
How
feel
did I?
threatened by, they attacked relentlessly over and over and over. So the slut shaming
I
was
wouldn't say
the
that. I wouldn't.
second largest theme. I'm sorry if you didn't see it. I was going through clips. You could have waited 10 more minutes. You could have
You,
seen all of
you,
them.
well, I mean, I feel like you're just like very triggered by a lot of
I'm
things
triggered,
and
or I
overly
just
triggered.
am I'm
Like
an
what happened?
active listener. It's one of the, or I actually
What
I
what
watched the rally. Sean, you
very
didn't even
sensitive.
watch it. You're up here arguing for your Lord and
Yes,
Savior, Orange Jesus, and you have no
I
idea what even
watched it.
happened yesterday. But if you want, you could
I
also read
watched the entire
articles. You
thing. I
don't
thought
have
it
to
was
watch
beautiful.
6 hours you'll never have back. You could also read the hundreds of articles. Here we go again. What does it say here? What does it say on the front of the New York Times? Trumpet Garden, a closing carnival of grievances, misogyny, and racism. Let's see what this New York Times article says, and maybe we can find some of the misogyny. Let's see. The comedian, he's
Paper,
called Puerto
paper,
Rico a
Felice.
floating island of garbage, then mocked Hispanics as failing to use birth control, Jews as cheap,
Who
Palestinians
owns
as
that
rock
newspaper?
throwers, and called out a black man in the audience with a reference to a watermelon. Oh, here's the misogyny. So open up your ears, Sean. You have a daughter? I remember that because I remember things about you. And it's time to protect your daughter and understand that this is the future. You're dooming her to. Another speaker likened Vice President Kamala Harris to a prostitute with pimp handlers. A third called her the Antichrist. And the former Fox News host Tucker Carlson mocked Miss Harris, the daughter of an Indian mother and a Jamaican father with a made up ethnicity, saying she was vying to become the first Samoan Malaysian low IQ former California prosecutor, lowest IQ California prosecutor ever to be elected president. That's just one quote.
Okay, all right. Who owns that newspaper?
What newspaper? The New York Times, a
The New York
conglomerate of
Times.
people, a conglomerate,
But who's the main
a
person?
bunch of different investors, Republicans. The CEO is a Republican.
Oh, Jeff
Okay,
Bezos
so
doesn't own
stop
that.
trying to do that. You choose a source. Wall Street Journal is reporting the same thing, owned by
Look up the
Rupert
New York
Murdoch, a
Post.
Trump simp. The Wall Street Journal's
Look up
reporting
New
the
York
same thing.
Post.
Sean, don't do it. You can look up any publication across the political spectrum, ideology aside. They are all reporting the same things. You can. It's a
Maga
quote.
Square
I
Garden
read for you, Sean,
on the
a
front of the
quote.
New York Post. Listen, I just have a hard time getting my news from somebody who donates to the
Sean, you have a
DNC.
hard time me reading you quotes that people said. I have the
From
clips. I have the clips.
from somebody who we're not going to talk about the 20,000 people inside the sold out
Sean, are
arena. We're
you
not going to talk about
saying
the
you're
10,000
doubting
people outside.
reality and that this happened? You're saying that the New York Times, who could easily be sued for misquoting people, this story is made up? Is that's now where that's where we're at?
Listen, if you are so if
Sean, I
somebody is so
watched it all
dense
happen. I can tell you, I heard it. I've
To
watched Tucker
blame
Carlson's
Trump
part of
for
this like 5 times. I clipped it twice.
then you've never really watched Tucker Carlson. Have you ever heard of satire?
I've never really watched Tucker Carlson. You have no idea what you're talking about. I have watched Tucker Carlson.
This is the only thing. This is the last stretch. The only thing you guys have. The only little bit of thread to hold on to because you're all unraveling.
Sean, you are projecting your own what's happening to you onto the
I'm
rest of
comfortable.
us
I
right
voted
now.
yesterday.
You are unraveling. You are backed into a corner and you are having to face, you have a daughter and a misogynistic, racist creep is about to become president. You are relegating your daughter to a life of misery. And the cognitive dissonance is now spewing out of you. And you're like, it's everyone else. It's not me. No, it's you, Sean.